Jeff, you can kind of tell me when we have everyone on. You're muted, Jeff.
Heck. Thank you, sir. I think we have everybody except for Chief Murphy and Director Miller.
Let's give them a couple of minutes. I think Jay said they were supposed to be here, right, Jay?
Yes.
Okay.
Jay, are there any other guests or anything? Or Jeff?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay, thanks. Daisy, congratulations on your appointment to that Erlanger board. Now we know who to call if we need a doctor or have to get an inside track.
No, the way that goes is you know who not to call.
That's right.
But thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Look forward to it.
proud of you. Look good.
Thank you.
So see, that means you're really not retired, Daisy. You're just like me and Richard. You are.
You know, it's funny you should say that because as I was looking over the information for 911, I used to could do this stuff on paid time.
Right.
Makes
Right.
a difference.
Right. Well, we don't mind you doing it on Erlanger time while you're up there with him.
Well, no, doesn't work that way.
I think that's Chief Murphy connecting. Chief Murphy, is that you?
Yes, it is. Sorry, meeting ran over, so I'm here now.
That's okay. We understand. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of time. Good morning to all of you. This is a full board meeting of the Hamilton County 911 Emergency Communications District Board of Directors, March 9th, 2023. This meeting has been duly advertised pursuant to the provisions of state law. And I want to remind you that we are recording this meeting today, and we're also streaming this meeting live via YouTube. We're meeting by the way of Zoom pursuant to the provisions outlined by state law. As a result of this, our media Zoom today, I want to make sure all of your connections are working today, that your technology is up to date. Given we are using Zoom, I want to make sure that all votes that we take will be by voice votes to make sure those votes are properly recorded. Again, I want to say good morning to all of you. I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Eddie Phillips to deliver an invocation for us today.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Let's pray. Father, thank you for loving us. Thank you that we can all be together and really do your work and do the work of the people of Hamilton County. Help us to be good servants and have clear minds and wisdom to make the right decisions. And we just pray you bless each first responder and each client agency out there and protect them. And we just thank you for loving us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Eddie. Let's go ahead and have a roll call, please, Jeff. Roll call, please.
Director Adams, Sheriff Garrett. Here. Chief Hyman. Here. Daisy Madison.
Here.
Director Miller. Chief Mitchell.
Here.
Chief Murphy.
Here.
Chief Phillips.
Here.
Ted Rogers. Brad Tucker.
Here.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Here. Item number B is the approval of the agenda. You've been sent a good packet. Jay does a really good job of getting information to all of us, and you've previously been sent the agenda. Take a moment to review the agenda. We'll recognize any additions to the agenda at this point. If there are no additions to the agenda, we will recommend a motion to approve. Is there a motion? Eric Mitchell, motion to approve. Is there a second? Okay, somebody second the agenda, please. We've got to get,
Second.
thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate that. Roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes,
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item C is the approval of the minutes from January 12th and March the 2nd, 2023. Those minutes were also included in your packet. Again, take a moment to peruse those minutes. We'll entertain a motion to any corrections or additions to those minutes at this time.
motion to approve both minutes.
Motion to approve both minutes by Eddie Phillips and second by Sheriff Garrett. Roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes,
Brad Tucker. You're muted, Brad. There you
Sorry.
go. Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. All right, they stand approved. Item number D, a very important part of our program today, awards and recognitions will yield to Jeff Carney, our director.
Yes, sir. We weren't able to get any of the awardees here. I will make sure to have them at the next board meeting. Our telecommunicator of the month was Melissa Brackett in December for her handling of a pursuit that involved an officer-involved shooting. She received a number of complaints from the officers involved. All the responders, there were quite a few of them out there on how well she handled that incident. Telecommunicator of the month for January was Ryan Davis for his work in recognizing that a vehicle involved in a motor vehicle accident was also a vehicle that had been reported stolen with a child inside. We were actually able to capture video on this call, which showed the Chattanooga Fire Department showing up and actually getting the kidnapped child out of the car. So it was a pretty dramatic rescue, but his being heads up helped with that quite a bit. We had one life saved through CPR each month so far in January and February. This resulted in 3 life-saving awards, one for a telecommunicator on our own and one for a telecommunicator and a CTO working together as a team. So they continue to do good work on that front.
Jeff, and to all the members of the staff, outstanding work, just some phenomenal work by some great professionals. Any comments by members of the board? 3 life-saving awards where they've actually saved lives, and wow, to really recover a vehicle with a child inside, phenomenal stuff, I will tell you. And then the officer involved shooting situation, officers really appreciated the way that dispatcher handled that, making sure being careful about the lives of these public safety personnel who risk their lives every day to do what they do. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman, I would say the board will remember where we went to Rapid SOS Premium so we could see the location of officer body cams. The day of that shooting was actually the day we turned that up for most of the departments. So I came in, saw the email from the tech staff that it was up and running, logged into it and said, well, there must be a parade or something downtown because look at all these officers downtown by the federal building. And then somebody came in and said, oh, there's an officer involved shooting down at Georgia and ML King. So good to know that the technology worked.
Well, I know Sheriff Garrett's on and Chief Murphy is on the call today too. And I know they truly appreciate this technology and what these personnel do every day. Sheriff, I think you had a comment.
I was just going to say this kind of highlights, it's a force multiplier for us. For every agency that operates in this county, it gives just an extra set of eyes, and decision making can be more efficient. We appreciate everything our dispatchers do every day.
Thank you, Sheriff. Chief Murphy.
I'll just echo that. I did indeed also hear from my people as well as everybody on the ground there. Me and the sheriff were both on the scene and heard the common accolades for our communicators that were involved that day as well.
Right. Well, Jeff, express, our appreciation to those communicators, and we look forward to meeting them where we can formally recognize them. All right? Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, definitely.
Item number E is the financial report, February 2023. Will yield to Daisy Madison.
May I share, please?
Should be able to.
Okay. Okay, can everybody see what's on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this would be a quick report. I want to first of all thank Jay and Jeff for their assistance and providing information to help me understand any not discrepancies, but maybe anomalies. I am going to start with, this is a February to February. I'm going to start with a budgetary report, which is as you see on the screen, the ordinary income. Before I go there, overall, in case I forget it at the end, the system continues to operate within budget. Revenues exceeding budget as of this point in time at 71%, and expenditures actually being under budget. I think it's around 62, 50, ordinary expenses at 52%. So, on the one hand, that does allow for a favorable operations result in terms of dollars, but we want to always be mindful that we do have that's largely due to salaries of our employees, and not salaries, vacancies of our employee and staff. However, as we just heard, they still continue to do a great job, even facing those challenges. Operating revenues at 71%, at 70.9, as you can see. However, you'll notice that the line 3020, TCA section 786, is at 92%. So I would assume most of that is in, so that makes for sort of an untimely comparison here relative to budget, which would be on a straight line basis about 67%. So we're at 74%. I would imagine that would not necessarily continue as the year goes on. Other non-operation revenues at or right on target at 67% of budget. Salaries and wages, 68%. They're again slightly above this time of the period, but they're again, that quite often has to do with timing, but it is at 68%. That is more than offset by savings that are in the benefit section, which is 54.6% of budget. Overall, now, throughout, you will notice there are areas where the percentage spent is relatively high. One of them being the telecommunications senior, but if you'll notice right above it, the telecommunicator advance is at 28.5. So you put those two together and it helps to explain, it brings total operations or total budget expenditures for telecommunicators more in line with the budget. And I think their administration suggests they may have hired more telecommunicator seniors than they had anticipated in the budget. But overall, between the advanced and seniors, I think they'll be okay. Administration, 55% of budget. There are a few lines that are over and under, like uniforms and so forth. But as you know, these are byline items. If anyone on the board have a specific question regarding any one of these, feel free to ask. But at this point, because I know that there is an exercise at the end of the year whereby all of these will be budgets will be reallocated, and those overages and underages will be addressed. It doesn't change the fact that we would want to know if there's some anomalies out there that explain what's happening this year. But these are budgets, and they are not expected to be exact. This contingency line here is part of the reason that happens, so that for those items that we were unable to budget exactly or target as we had expected, those funds are reallocated, as well as overages and underages, if you will, in other areas. Facilities are at 73%. There again, I think we talked about this last time. Primarily, we will see that gas is higher, is already overspent. Electricity is at 87%. And I think administration is inquiring of those vendors to see if they can get a better explanation as to what's happening. Operations, other than the fact that the rate went up, but I don't know that it went up quite that much, but we'll see. Communications operations at 52%. So the total expenditures with the excesses and underages and deficits, if you will, we'll see that we're at 62.6%. And on a straight line basis, you'd be more like at 66%. So the excess revenue due to untimeliness or early payment of some of the state subsidies and the reduction in expenditures leads us to an ordinary income of $684,000 more than we would have budgeted at this time of year. And that is part, and that really relates to all cash outlay type expenditures and those non-cash outlay expenditures such as depreciation and amortization brings that net income down to $1.4 million, which, as you know, prudent financing, prudent management requires or that we would set aside those funds for depreciation, which is being done in this budget. So overall, we are operating well within budget. Revenues are coming in as expected. Expenditures are down slightly, largely again due to fringe benefits and items of that nature, and expenditures that may not have happened, that may be one-time type expenditures. Anybody have any questions?
Daisy, thank you for such a thorough report, good explanation on the expenditures and the revenue. Any comments by any members of the board? Later on in the presentations and the agenda, I would like Jeff to talk to us a little bit about recruitment and hiring, to see if we're closing that gap any. So we'll have that later on. Any comments from Daisy's presentation? Daisy, would you make a motion to approve this budget as presented?
I move that the budget, that the financial statement as presented be approved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, who was that?
Eric Mitchell.
Okay, thank you, Eric. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, Jeff.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes, thank you. Okay, item number F is our legal counsel report. I think Councilman Mann is on the call. Mike, any report from you? You're muted too, by the way.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, you've got my report and everything is fine. I noticed that, I sort of play like an umpire of sorts, make sure everybody does everything by the books. And I'm very pleased to report that Jeff Carney is doing everything just excellent in the way he's managing our business.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments? Mike did submit his report to us. I did have an opportunity to review that report. Any comments from members of the board? Mike, thanks for all that you continue to do in the area of legal and advising us. Very, very well. Thank you. Director's report, Director Carney, item number G.
Yes, sir. First is a staffing update. I'm happy to say that we're right now at 20 short of budgeted, which sounds like a lot, but that's actually more within normal limits for us. And it's certainly much better than being almost 50 down. So that's a big, big improvement. That improvement is the result of Bruce Garner and his recruiting efforts, Dr. Gohagan and Human Resources and the training staff and all the staff here and the board as well on the work that we've done with salaries and with getting the word out and presenting the district, I think, in a good light. And this constant monthly hiring program that we've been doing has been very successful. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The biggest thing I'm happy about this month is in January, we had 11 hours of mandatory overtime for the whole month. And then for February, we only had 8. Now, the voluntary overtime is still high, but that's voluntary overtime, and that's much better than the mandatory, which, as you all know, the mandatory was a big pain point both for leadership and for the staff. So again, light at the end of the tunnel, I think.
Jeff, I did ask Ted Rogers as chair of the personnel committee to continue to work with you and Dr. Gohagan on benchmarking our compensation for our line personnel, the people on the ground first. So we're excited about that. He said he would lead that initiative and begin to report back to the board the findings there. So want to make sure that we stay competitive and sustainable in our workforce. So I'm looking forward to that data coming back.
Yes, sir. And I want to recognize, as all of you have, how hard they've been working with this overtime. And as Daisy Madison pointed out, how well they're doing. They're still doing a fantastic job, even with this added stress. So I know it's been hard on them. It's been hard on us as leadership to see them go through this. I appreciate the board's support, and we're getting there.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, can I just add, I don't listen to the radio really that often, but in transit, I heard the recruitment advertisement on the radio, and I was, that was excellent. That was kind of probably gave me some ideas. So you all are doing a great job.
Chief,
Thanks,
thank you
Chief.
for that.
Yes, sir. The next item is the recruiting program. Bruce has really been wearing us out. He's kept us on our toes with a lot of activities going on. If you look at our Facebook page, you see they've been attending a lot of career fairs here lately. We've had representation at just about every one of them. We're well inside the Hamilton County schools now, talking with the class that's about to graduate and trying to recruit them in here. One of the big items coming up is in April 26th, the district is hosting its own job fair. That'll be held at the Brainerd Rec Center. In preparation for that, we do have radio advertisements out on four radio stations, I believe, to include the Spanish language station. We've got billboards, we've got print ads and online ads as well. So we're hoping for a good turnout for that. We'll have our mobile incident communication center out there with the lights flashing, trying to attract more people in, give people a tour of that to kind of show them what they're looking at if they come here, and hope to get a lot of good applicants out of that, maybe finish off that other 20.
Thank you. Great report.
Very quickly, we did switch to the AT&T nationwide EZNet on the February 23rd. As I'd said before, that right now for us, this is basically a carrier change. We were on Net10 before, so this is our second version of a next gen system, but this is more of a true next gen system. And eventually we hope to see additional features and things with this AT&T nationwide network. Last week I was able to go to,
Can I have my hand up, but I know it's a lot to keep up with what's happening here, and I didn't want us to get too far from
yes,
the
ma'am.
recruitment. So may I, Chair?
Go ahead, Daisy.
I'm
Yeah.
back to the recruitment. I just wanted to echo that everybody, I mean, I'm really impressed because we've tried for years to try and get more initiative and effort out there in that area. But I do want to continue to emphasize that we want to try and make sure that our staff makeup as part of that recruitment process include, or is reflective of the population
Yes, ma'am.
makeup, if you will, please. That men, women, racial, old, young, pretty, ugly, whatever. All right.
All of our people are beautiful.
You pretty much got the whole board there, Daisy, with the.
Yeah. Right.
So Daisy has kind of echoed again the need for equity and inclusion and diversity that looks like the community we serve. And so Jeff, please keep that on the forefront
Yes, sir.
as you continue in those recruitment efforts, right? That's an important thing for us. We've been talking about it for years. We're hoping that you will take that mantle and continue some good work in that area.
Yes, for both you and Daisy, I did see, I guess, some of the schools we had sent and who we had sent. And I did ask about that, and Bruce had said that he had a hard time getting those filled, so he finally had to end up with who he could take with him. We do try to make sure that it's representative, and you know, people that want to see people that look like them when we're trying to recruit, right? So that is in our thoughts, and we're going to work harder on that.
I do want to encourage all the members of the board too, that for your help and assistance in recommending candidates to Jeff and his team to consider employment here. All of you are pretty much heads of a lot of agencies, and you're out in the community, you're connected. And if you see a potential candidate, just nudge them a little bit and talk about the qualities of the job and the experiences. If you would do that, I think it might prove very helpful. We too have that responsibility. I'm constantly looking for talent as well to recommend, not only to 911, but to all of these public safety agencies.
And if I may, one last comment. Jeff, I know you didn't mean this to come across the way it is, but at the end of the day, this is not about me and Richard or Dr. Brown. It's really the board. Hopefully this is a goal of the board, which is everybody up here. And I hope that is the case. And if that is because in doing so, it's not just about getting representative of the community. It's the way you get the best talent from all of the employment pool. So this is hopefully a board and administration's goal, as well as maybe mine and Dr. Brown. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's certainly my goal, and the only reason I responded that way was y'all were the last two that talked. But
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, we always say that we want the best and the brightest. The cream always should come to the top. We just want the cream to be diverse while we're selecting it. That's all.
yes, sir, I understand.
Yes, thank you.
Last week I was able to go to 911 Goes to Washington, which is the first time Hamilton County's attended that event. It's a NENA event. The two items we were looking at was the trying to get them to allow the FCC to auction off some radio spectrum, and using the proceeds of that to put out $15 billion worth of grants for completion of Next Gen 911 across the nation. That helps us here at the local level. It goes to the TECB. Whatever money the TECB gets as grants means more money coming back to us as locals that the TECB doesn't have to spend to maintain the statewide Next Gen system. The other item was the 911 Saves Act, which is to and both of these this is their second session around. The 911 Saves Act is the act that's trying to get the telecommunicator classification moved to a protective service class rather than administrative clerical that it's in now at the federal government with the Office of Management and Budget. Both of these obviously require no money whatsoever from the federal government. One, in fact, generates money through the sale of property owned. We met with Senators Blackburn and Haggerty, and then I had a one-on-one meeting with Congressman Fleischman, and they were all very supportive and very interested in what we do here. And I think maybe we'll get some good local support from that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would also like to thank Jeff for attending that. And I want to take just a second to go back and brag on Jeff and Bruce and really our whole team and what they are doing. The deal about lowering the mandatory overtime is really a big deal. But what I want to talk about is even like what Chief Murphy said, we're all really seeing the results of this new campaign. And I'll tell you one example was the text to 911 article that went out in the Free Press. I was asked to meet with Senator Blackburn's office too, with the International Fire Chiefs, International Police Chiefs, and APCO about Next Generation 911. And I was able to send them that, that article on texting the 911 in Hamilton County and what a leader we are and all the benefits of Next Generation 911. And they really got to brag on our district, and it really went a long way. So I just want to thank you again. And before we get too far away from that.
Eddie, thank you for that. It's a step in the right direction in terms of outreach. And Jeff, we do applaud that work, that presence in the community and with our legislative personnel, elected leaders.
Next, we're looking at a pilot program on telephone CPR delivery. As you know, we can take video now on request from callers. So our dispatchers will send a link and request a video connection with a caller. We're looking at doing a pilot program with the vendor that supplies us with that video technology prepared. What we hope to do is be able to see and confirm and coach, if the rescuer's hand placement is correct, what the chest compression depth is, et cetera. Help to get higher quality CPR out there and perhaps improve the life-saving numbers with CPR. It's pretty interesting, pretty bold. I wasn't sure exactly how our people would feel about having video with that, but the ones I've talked to have all been on board. We've not mandated that, hey, if there's a CPR, you're going to video it. It's if there's a CPR and you feel comfortable with it, do it. This technology allows them to blur the video. So once they can get it coached and get it straightened out and going, they can go back to a blurred view of that. So they're not having to see anything too graphic or anything that's going to cause additional stress. One of the things I like about our vendor with the video technology is there's actually a link on the program they use where they can go immediately for some mental health assistance or stress management stuff associated with whatever they might have been exposed to. So interesting use of new technology. We have 2 vendors that are seeking to film promotional videos using the district, Prepared being one of those. And the other is Central Square, who we use for phone and CAD. And those are still preliminary right now. We're still working with them on exactly how that would be portrayed.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
let me ask Jeff about that, if it's okay. Jeff, what would it says Prepared Live, who provides our video and multimedia at no cost. What's that all about, and how are they delivered at no cost?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it's free. I try not to ask too many questions. There might be a bill in there somewhere.
Well, I would just caution you, and I know you will, going forward to this, not to do this until the board would vote to do it, because it's letting these people use us in their advertising, and, you know, you and Mike Mann be on board with it first, make sure there's no liability concerns, or we get waivers, and also any security concerns.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, definitely.
But I know you'll do that, but I just was interested in where it says that they're providing that at no cost, but anyway.
Yeah, they do have other add-ons to that, that do cost, and I think that's how they're making their money. They're partnered with, Rapid SOS that we use. I'm not sure if there's any money changing hands there or not, but, for the basic service, the text, the outbound text and the, video and multimedia stuff, it's free.
Okay. Well, since our two vendors wanting to come in and use us for their advertising, you know, you and Mike need to approve it and the board needs to approve it. And we just need to make sure we're
Oh,
all
definitely.
on the same page with them, you know.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you.
The building risk management update. We do have an RFP, that's being developed for the blast-proof, bulletproof windows over on the Wisdom Street side. We're waiting on an updated quote for anti-climb fencing. And we're waiting for an updated, quote on the air intake, improvements as well. Last item is, the client agency costs. The client agency funding letters have been sent out, which includes the amounts, for the 3% plus the remaining 350, that were, that was put forth in, FY22. Other than that, there's the personnel report and the statistics, which I'd be happy to answer any questions about. And then that's the end of my report, sir.
Jeff, thank you. I did want to pause and thank Daisy for continuing dialogue about the funding letter. I kept up with that conversation between Jay and yourself, and Daisy, you may want to have some comments about that.
No, thank you. We did look thoroughly at that funding letter. I wanted to feel comfortable that what we were telling the agencies were indeed correct in how it will actually be administered. And the letter is now is reflective of the raises that amount includes, as well as the retroactive amount. But I just, for the board and all here, I want to make sure that that retroactive amount basically is handled the same way any other appropriation is handled, and that is at the end of the year, actuals come in and the agencies pay based upon actual and not upon budget. And with that in mind, and should there be a change in compensation other than what is presented in that letter as part of the budget, that we be sure to sort of be transparent with the agencies about that as well.
Well, thank you.
Now, while I have the floor, do you
Yes.
mind? I wanted to ask Jeff. Jeff, you are refreshing. You know, you're going to get tired of it, but be patient. You said you were going to do a job fair.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I think that's great. The city has done a number of those, and they have gotten raving remarks on how well they've been. I don't know anything about their process in terms of who they're reaching out to and how that's handled, but they seem to be getting some very good responses. And so I don't know if you've had any communications with the HR department there, but it is a resource, and they have done that, and they have reported positive results.
Okay, that's good to know. Dr. Gohagen's here with us. Angel.
Yes, I've been in contact with city HR and county HR throughout the process. So in fact, we actually had a couple new applicants that were actually sent to us directly from city HR recently. So we're in contact with them.
Good. I figured we were using a city building that we had talked to them for this, but.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But my comment related primarily to the publication, the what do you call it? How you getting that out there so that people know it's happening and will show up. But okay.
We'll make sure we get with them and see what successes they've had and what we can get on board with.
Well, I think, Jeff, isn't some of that, the advertisement that you're doing on Carta and also on the billboard, isn't that what Chief Murphy was talking about? Does those advertisements push them to that job fair, or is that separate?
Yeah, that's some of it. Yes, sir.
It's gonna be at the Brainerd Recreation Center over by Brainerd High School, right? And,
Yes, sir.
but I mean, that's kind of what Daisy's wanting to know also. Part of your advertisement campaign is advertising that event, I guess.
Yes, sir.
No, yeah, that's what I meant. But a lot of times, especially in city residents, there are sub-agencies or sub-mediums, if you will, that maybe reach targeted populations or just reach more than just the obvious ad campaign, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And I don't know how they did
We're
it.
learning is all these different ways to reach these people. So even when we're going to the high schools for the career fairs, especially on the city schools, they're very good about encouraging the parents to come to the career fairs as well. So we're not only reaching the children, we're trying to get their parents too when they come through. So anybody that we see that's qualified and can do the job, we're going to reach out to. But yeah, there are a lot of city departments that are involved in that communicate a lot with the Chattanooga citizens, and we want to make sure that we get our message out there through them as well.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd love it. I know while Chief Murphy and the sheriff is on, I'd love to see a public safety job fair where all these agencies do a career fair of sorts together. Pretty impactful. That would be a great look. And to do it at a site that could really accommodate that, could be welcoming and that kind of thing. And I think that'd be just great. Chief, what do you think about that? Chief Murphy, I know y'all are looking into some of that.
Definitely. That sounds good.
Okay, I'll challenge Shane Austin to take a look at that. But I think that this is the right time because the job market is changing a bit post-COVID, and you can strike while the iron's hot, I think, and we just need that involvement in public safety throughout the county. So thank you for that. We're going to move to item number H, old business. Is there any other old business to come before the board today? Okay, seeing none, let me start by thanking our working committees. The committees have been hard at work. Our executive committee, personnel committee, tech committee, and facilities committee. All these committees have been meeting in the interim, and what you will see as a result of new business, some of the items that they have already kind of given their thoughts to and explored and recommending for full approval of the board today. So I do want to thank those committees and those chairs, especially for some outstanding work. We'll go to new business now. Item number 1, the Wisdom Street volumes.
Yes, sir. As part of the building risk management survey, it called for bollards here on the Wisdom Street side to protect the transformer, part of the fence, the utility pole, and the employee crosswalk. Billingsley Architecture put together the bid and advertised this. Bids were opened on January 18th with 2 responses, one from Thomas Brothers for $48,950, one from Roberts for $82,800. Billingsley Architecture reviewed the bids, noted the discrepancy in the bid amount was due to Robert Roberts intending to sub this out. Billingsley approved the bid of Thomas Brothers, said that it met all requirements. This was heard by the Joint Executive Personnel Technology and Facilities Operations Committee on February 20th. And it was recommended to the full board for approval for Thomas Brothers in the amount of $48,950.
Right, Chair of the Facilities Committee, you want to make that recommendation for approval, please?
I'd make that recommendation for approval.
Is there a second? Okay, Chief Murphy, did I see you second it? Sorry. Yes.
Second.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Daisy's muted. Daisy?
Yes, sorry.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
She is muted. There you go. Yes.
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. All right. Thank you for that. And Jeff, please continue to communicate with our employees these safety initiatives that we're taking to ensure their safety. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Console heaters, item number 2.
Each of our 41 workstations downstairs has its own heat and air units. Those are about 13 years old now, and we started seeing failures in the existing heating units. To include one that caught fire on one weekend, which is what really got our attention. We've had a few replaced with a newer unit. After reviewing how they're starting to break down, and of course the fire that we had in the one, we felt it was time to just go ahead and replace all of the units. The per unit cost is $1,245. There's freight and installation. We're asking that Russ Bassett, the console manufacturer, do the installation to maintain the warranty. This will be a sole source item, as it has to be a particular type of heater to go into the Russ Bassett console. This was also heard by the Facility Operations Committee on February 20th and recommended to the full board for approval in the total amount of $61,105.
$1,105. Phil Hyman, would you make that motion to approve?
I would like to make a motion to have no more fires at the 911 center and move forward with this purchase, please.
Okay, Chief, thank you for that. Is there a second?
I will second that.
All right, Eric Mitchell seconds. Any further comments? If
I don't
not,
understand Chief Hyman's concern. He's got a fire station next door.
roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
I apologize. Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes,
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number 4, cybersecurity position salary grade adjustment.
Let's see.
Yep. You're gonna handle that, or you're gonna let Dr. Gohagan handle it?
Dr. Gohagan,
I would love to handle it.
Oh, thank you.
Good job.
We created the position for system security back in 2020 due to a variety of factors, including the salary range was initially posted. We did not and were not able to fill that position. We went back with our human resource staffing consultant at S Resource. I told him that my opinion was to move it to pay grade 70 and to disaggregate it from the systems and network specialist. He agreed with that assessment after conducting assessment of his own. So we are recommending to move that to pay grade 70. This was brought in front of the Joint Executive Personnel Technology Facilities Operations Committees on February 20th, and it was approved by those committees, and we recommend for the full board for approval.
And what's the base salary at that level that you're recommending?
Base salary is $67,310 with a
67.
max of $100,966.
So that's the range that it goes to. All right,
Yes, sir.
thank you. This did come before the joint committees and was vetted very well. Eddie Phillips, or Daisy, either one of you can comment on this, and I'll make the recommendation to approve.
Well, let me just ask first to Dr. Gohagan, you guys do feel like this change will help us be able to recruit the right person?
Yes, sir. We do believe that to be the case.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank
Unless,
you, Eddie. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, second by Phil Hyman. Any further comments? Roll call, Jeff.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
yes,
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number 5, human resources consultant, a consultant contract for human resources support. I did talk to Ted Rogers about this, and he said Dr. Gohagan would handle that in his absence. Dr. Gohagan.
Again, very happy to do
He
so.
said he would be glad to.
The board tasked us to look into the hiring of Linda Herrig as a consultant. We did so and created a proposal where she would address certain items of the employee survey recommendations. She would review and make recommendations for a compensation study and plan, which we want to continue to do. Another human resources responsibilities as well, including, which we're going to get to shortly, the assistance with the executive management team search and filling of those roles. We put this in there, as staff recommended, $250 an hour, not to exceed a total of $25,000 without further board approval. This is in line with what the county does on their consultants and is in line with the hourly rate of what we pay other consultants in this area. This was taken in front of the Joint Executive Personnel Technology Facilities Operations Committee. I'm just going to say joint committees moving forward, if that's okay. On February 20th, and it was approved by those committees and recommended to the full board for approval.
Thank you, Dr. Gohagan. Chairman Rogers did indicate his support for this, but any member of the executive committee, I'd look forward to you recommending the approval of this. I'm looking at Daisy or Eddie.
Well, I will comment.
Okay?
This is the consultant. And the only thing I just want to ask a question of clarification. Is this saying that the board is going to hire the consultant? Because I think we talked about it. We are going to hire a consultant. And then I noticed that just prior with the position that we just approved, we had a Hamilton County consultant sort of weigh in on that as an extra independent source or professional source or whatever. Are we now hiring a consultant of our own to do that? Will we still use Hamilton County? Because we do have HR and now we have a consultant. Are we still going to use Hamilton County? Just clarifications here.
Daisy, in my conversations with Ted, we will certainly use Ms. Herrick, but we will also continue to consult with Hamilton County because that resource is there. And it's always good to have a couple of data points when you're looking at compensation benchmarking. So I think we'll continue to do some of that. I don't know that they will use the consultant that Hamilton County has been using. That's an extra cost, but we can certainly come back with the personnel committee and talk to them about that whole process.
And the other thing that's, it makes sense. I mean, I noticed that this person is going to do a little bit more, I think, than what Hamilton County consultant does as a result of our last study or survey. But I just don't want us to get too out of line with Hamilton County just for parity purposes. And that consultant that we had and the fact that we were consulting and collaborating sort of helped in that regard to some degree. But if we decide not to do that at all, then you can easily sort of drop out of alignment if that's important.
I will say to Dr. Gohagan, I will ask that she continues to look at Hamilton County for benchmarking because we are part of that entity and we don't want to get too far afield from the benchmarking of certain positions. So that resource is there and makes good sense to use it.
Yes, sir.
Well, Chairman Brown and Daisy, my understanding also is that this consultant, Linda, is going to be, she's the one that did our employee survey study and really did it in depth and has really grown to have a close relationship with most of our employees. We discovered that they would talk to her when they won't really talk to either even management or us a lot of times. And so she really has a handle on the district, I feel like. And I think that's the primary reason for this, hiring her as a consultant to continue beyond doing that employee survey now, is to implement all the findings in that survey. And she'll be helping to do a lot of that. I guess she'll be doing the compensation and pay plans too, but I thought we would still use SRE. I thought we would be doing both. I didn't know she had the same resources to do the comp study as they did, but what she does have is this close handle on our district's people and how to implement the right policies and procedures and things to help Jeff and his team to, implement these things and go forward. We're already seeing results, but we felt like we wanted to do this. I think we are staying in line with the county in that the amounts, I think this is what the county does. They'll do up to 25,000 on a consultant like this. And then if anything were to go beyond that, it has to come back to the board for approval. But Dr. Gohagan or somebody, isn't that right?
Yes, sir, that is correct. We're going to continue to use S-Resource for the primary benchmarking with county. They've done a great job. They've worked with the county for, I believe, about 20 years, I think, if that's correct.
Correct.
Jay. So we're going to continue to use S-Resources. Linda Herrig, as an HR consultant, will do a little bit more, but she will also assist with some pay and compensation studies as well.
Dr. Gohagan, thank you. And Daisy, thank you for that too. We're all in the public square and we have to be sensitive to that and making sure that our data aligns with where we are, the place that we exist, and that is Hamilton County. So I'm delighted that we're going to continue to use both.
Yes, sir.
In that regard. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, let me ask one more thing. Jeff, you're okay with this too? And you and your management team are okay with bringing her home as your consultant?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm along with everyone else here. Everybody likes working with Linda. She also cares about our people, and that's important to me. And I think she'll do a good job with that. And I agree also with keeping S-Resource. They have been, and I don't think it's just Hamilton County that uses them. I believe some of the other local municipalities use them as well. So I think it's important to keep them for the job benchmarking and some of the salary studies that they do, just so we're in line with our client agencies.
Well, it just seems like everything's coming together and we're seeing that just from this lowering of mandatory overtime, which again has been a big deal with our people, mandatory overtime. And so it just seems like everything's starting to come together. So, I'm good with this. And I'm not hearing any reservations really. I think hopefully Daisy's questions were answered, but so I'll make the motion to approve this.
Okay, is there a second so we can get this on the table? Motion by Eddie, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Phil Hyman. Any further comments? Let me say this, since Ms. Harrod came aboard and did that work for us, the morale, the culture of the employees has improved greatly. And I always say that our greatest asset, the employees that do the work. We can have great technology, the best in the world. If you don't have great people with great attitudes doing the work, we're heading in the wrong direction. So I'm excited that Jeff and your team and Linda, y'all are getting us in the right direction, letting our employees know that we care about them. And then we're going to implement many of those recommendations that were made. So with that said, we have a motion and a second. We will do a roll call, Jeff.
All right. Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
You're muted, Ms. Madison.
Daisy, you're muted.
Yes.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number 6 is to revise the executive director job description for our search. This is a critical step in the search process. We have, Dr. Gohagan, thank you, by the way, for continuing to work with us on this. She sent various iterations of this to all of you. We now have a final document that was reviewed by our joint committees, and we have that before you today. Dr. Gohagan, talk us through it.
Yes, sir. We met with the joint committees on February 20th and reviewed the last edited version of the job description. And we included some things in there from various board members, reworded it. I worked closely with Personnel Chairman Ted Rogers, Linda Herrig as well, in reorganizing and making sure it fit in the county job description format as well. We did add one additional phrase in there since the committee hearing. It was based on board approval. So at the bottom of page 2 under minimum qualification, we added with approval of the board on that as well. So that was voted on by the joint committees on February 20th and recommend approval for the full board so that we can go ahead and move forward with the process.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gohagan. We did have a lot of feedback from our executive and joint committees on this job description. I think they've done a really good job of addressing some of those issues. We wanted to make sure that we had the right relationships identified between the board and the executive director, pursuant to how 911 is constructed under state law, under statutory law. And I think we've managed to do that. Jeff, we're not going to be, if you or any other director, we won't be stepping on your toes, but we will be providing leadership and management oversight pursuant to what the state requires us to do, as Mike Mann always reminds me. So we're going to entertain a motion to approve the job description. Is there a motion? Okay, got to get the motion on.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Chief.
I'll second it.
And Daisy Madison seconds the motion. Thank you so much. Any further comments? Roll call, Jeff.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. Would like to add to that, the chair of the Personnel Committee wanted me to remind all of you that our search process, the recommended search process at this time will be an internal search first to the 911 district. We will start with that search first. So I wanted all of you to be aware of that. And thank you for the work. Item number 7, pretty exciting, National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week resolution. Jeff.
Yes, sir. Traditionally, every year, the board authorizes a resolution to be posted in recognition of Telecommunicators Week. The resolution is in your packet. Says, whereas the heart of the life-saving E911 system is the telecommunicator, who is the first responder to every event and emergency, to whose professional care our citizens turn in times of emergency, and upon whom our emergency responders rely every day in Hamilton County and throughout the nation. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize all district employees, especially the public safety professional telecommunicator, during the week of April 9 through 15, which is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Board of Directors in session assembled that we do hereby declare April 9 through 15 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Hamilton County, and authorize the acting executive director to expend budgeted amounts for reasonable expenses to recognize district employees and express appreciation for the life-saving service they provide our community. And be it further resolved that this resolution take effect from and after its passage, public welfare requiring it.
Jeff, thank you, and beautiful resolution, and we're delighted to engage that. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Make the motion.
Brad Tucker makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Phil Hyman. Any further comments from members of the board? This is pretty important stuff. We get an opportunity to recognize some excellent folk. Right. With nothing said, Jeff, roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
Sheriff's got to unmute there.
You,
I apologize. I'm multitasking. Yes.
Yes, all right.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes,
Chief Mitchell,
Yes.
Chief Murphy. Looks like she dropped
She
off.
may have dropped off.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes, and Jeff, keep us apprised of the events that you plan for recognition, okay? So the
Yes, sir.
board is aware of it. Many of you, I want to encourage you to drop in on some of those events if you can, okay? All right, item number 8, other new business. Are there other new business to come before the board today?
Yeah, we skipped one item.
Oh, did I skip one? Okay.
Number 3, the.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
the UPS
UPS maintenance. Oh. All right, guys, I think my eyes are working better. They may not be working as well as I think. All right, number 3, I'm sorry, UPS maintenance.
UPS maintenance, for this item, we were simply asking to, the authorization to continue to use Vertiv, who is the service that manufactures the equipment. There is a price increase that would be reflected in the FY24 budget. Without this approval, though, we would need to go out for a bid. We don't feel a bid is due for this. We feel that this is more of a sole source, as Vertiv is the, like I said, the original equipment manufacturer. They have access to all the parts and services in a rapid manner, which in this day and age is important. So the ask here is for us to be able to continue to use Vertiv as the UPS maintenance provider.
Right. We'll go to Phil Hyman on the Facilities Committee. I'm sure you guys vetted this well.
Absolutely, and I'll make the motion to move for approval.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Eddie Phillips. Any comments or questions? Right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Sheriff Garrett,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
yes,
Chief Mitchell. Did we lose Chief Mitchell too? Okay. Chief Murphy's gone. Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Brown.
Yes. All right. Well, full agenda. Thank you for your patience in getting through a very full agenda. And we only took about an hour and 9 minutes of your time today. So if, are there any representatives out there now that may want to present to the board? I need to ask that. You may do so at this time. Any other parties who want to present to the board? Okay, with that said, thank you so much. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
All right, and Phil Hyman second. All those in favor say aye. Raise your hand. I will take that for adjournment. All right, okay. Thank you so much.